Hello and welcome to Chromatic Transformations Part 2. This is going to be on Level 2 transformations. This is a edited video from my previous upload. A viewer was kind enough to spot a error in one of the progressions, so I decided to redo the video and upload a corrected one. So when I'm using the word level, I'm talking about the distance that a scale is from the major scale. So a level 1 transformation or a level 1 scale refers to scales that have one pitch altered that's raised or lowered from the major scale. So if we take C major, for example, we can copy that down and we can alter one of these pitches. And this is the process that we went through in the first video. So if we raise the fourth pitch, for example, to F sharp, that gives us G major. So G major turns out to be one level away from C major, or a level 1 transformation from C major. Level 2 refers to scales that have two pitches that are altered, either raised or lowered from the major scale. So if we take that level 1 scale, G major, and we copy this down, now we can alter one of these pitches to create a level 2 transformation. So we could, for example, lower the 7th pitch to B flat, and this would give us the G melodic minor scale. So G melodic minor turns out to be 2 levels away from C major. We can also raise the 2nd pitch to D sharp, and this gives us an E harmonic minor scale. So E harmonic minor is also a level 2 transformation from C major. So if we look at the level 1 scales that we had previously, these are the 5 possible transformations from C major. Now, any more chromatic alterations would result in what are called chromatic fragments, or 2 or more semitones in a row, which loses that tonal flavor that we want to retain. So even though we want to be chromatic, we still want to be tonal. There are 10 possible transformations for level 2. And some of these scales are scales that you might not be familiar with, but you can go through and kind of get the flavor for them by playing through them. Now, if we build triads from each of these scale degrees for each of these scales, turns out that we have a number of redundant triads from level 1. So let's just highlight those triads that are unique to level 2. And we have this. Now let's clear away all of these other triads. It turns out that we have 12 new unique triads from level 2 that we can now insert into this cycle that we've been working with, which is the tonic subdominant dominant cycle that has minor third substitutions. So it turns out that each one of these categories, these tonic subdominant dominant categories, each of these pitches can or chords can be substituted for any one of the chords in that category. And so if we look at the level 2 triads that are available to us and we put them into these categories, we can now start to substitute each of these triads for in this cycle, and we can start with the 1-4-5 chords, so C major, F major to G major. So if we start from that point, and we can hear this cycle, now we can start to substitute each of these unique level 2 triads. So let's start by substituting B flat augmented for the dominant chord. We can also substitute each of these chords, and we can now go from D sharp diminished to B major to G augmented. Or we can substitute E flat major for the tonic chord. Or D flat augmented for the dominant chord. Or G diminished. Or B flat minor. or we can substitute C diminished for the tonic chord. Or G sharp major for the subdominant chord. Or G sharp minor. So again, going back to this cycle of substituted progressions of this tonic, subdominant, dominant categories, now we can fill in our level 1 transformations. And if you recall, we had 386 permutations of different kinds of progressions that we can create just off of these chords. And now if we add in these new unique triads from level 2, now we have several hundred more different permutations that we can create just from this 3-chord cycle. So that is the end of part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon. We'll be talking about level 3 and 4 transformations, and I hope that someone finds this useful, and if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching and listening.